Welcome to this year's Designer Showcase Home here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's put on by the Home Builders Association and it features a bunch of different interior designers here. I can't wait to show you the home and I'll tell you more about what a showcase house, a designer showcase house, really is. What is a designer showcase house? Well, it's a house that someone in the city decides they're willing to use their house, donate it. I think they have to move out for like 6 months, but a horde of interior designers and their teams come in and they fix, change, renovate, remodel the home any way they can within their budget. Thus, you're gonna see a lot of differentiation between what one designer will do over another because it's coming out of her own pocket. However, it is an opportunity for designers to get their work shown and for them to make a name for themselves in the community. It's a really fun house to come and take a look at. Now this year, the showcase home is actually a very, very mid-century modern home. I've gone through and selected my top 6 rooms that I'd like to show you guys today. I'm gonna walk you through, we're gonna take a look at the before photos, what it looks like now, and I've invited each one of the designers for their specific room to come in and meet with us just for a couple of minutes so that you can see who they are, more importantly to find out what are the little cool things they did in those rooms that we may not even be able to recognize just by looking at it, but they can point out some tips that you can use in your own home. So I invite you to join me today for the Designer Showcase Home here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is sponsored and put on by the Home Builders Association. Let's go take a look. Let's start with the entryway here. This is done by Leslie Story, an interior designer here in Tulsa, and I love the color scheme that she selected. How fun is it to walk into an entryway with big double doors, gorgeous windows, a pointed cathedral ceiling, and then hello, this huge rock wall. I think that when you have strong, dark stone and rock to work with, in order for it to look yummy and to be inspiring and beautiful, you need to do something like this gorgeous, gorgeous piece of art. This is painted by Derek Penix. You can find this at the Royce Meyer Gallery. This guy is a Tulsa artist, and I think his work is absolutely gorgeous. This is the kind of thing that there are a lot of people trying to mimic and kind of create their own version, but I think Derek Penix has got it. So I'm thinking that Leslie kept with the mid-century look in her choices for this entryway. Beautiful, well done, very symmetrical, great first impression. Super proud of this designer. And I love this natural wood. It looks like a root. I think that kind of thing is a root, and they use it as a little side table. Okay, so this is just a very well done room, even like the choice of pillows that she's got here. And then this almost like mustard color of these swivel chairs in a velvet. I love these windows. I mean, this is very indicative of a mid-century modern home when it has the completely floor to ceiling windows. But look, these are beautiful pedestals with wonderful pieces of sculptural pieces on top. This is gorgeous. How fun is it to have Leslie Story here today? She's actually the designer liaison. She worked with all the other designers and this entryway, as well as the entry from the outdoors inside, her design firm did. Yes. And it's beautiful. You did such a great job.
Thank you so much.
Tell us about how you ended up with this space and how you approached it.
Well, as the liaison, I get first pick, which is always a nice thing.
That's a good reason to be a liaison.
Yes, so I loved this space. I loved the stone and the stone floors, and so this is the elements entry. Okay. So it has wood and water and fire, air. So I incorporated all of that together.
And lots of natural light.
Yes.
Did you replace this light fixture?
So this is a happy accident. I did replace this light, and after I bought it, I was looking at a photo of it one night and realized that the ironwork in it replicates the ironwork outside.
Oh, wow.
So for me, it feels like it was just meant to be in this house.
Yeah, she meant to do that.
I did.
That's how we do
Happy
it.
accidents are always a good thing.
That's a good thing. What I noticed when I first came in, of course, the foundation of the stone on the floor, this incredibly textured stone wall, this is huge.
It is.
You have to have large scale
Yes.
to carry this off.
Yes.
But what I really loved was this piece of art you have to your left, the color story connecting here, and then right on over to this. These two pieces especially just look amazing to me. Well, thank you so much. It's really delightful meeting you.
Thank you so
and
much.
I appreciate you sharing your project with us and what you
you.
did. It turned out absolutely beautiful.
Thanks so much.
Okay. And from this color palette, this leads me so perfectly on into the office. Right off of the entryway is the office, and this was done by Lindsay Gray Interiors. And there are some things in here that she did that I think are really great. The soffit that goes around the room is meant for uplighting, but that's why it's there. What it does is it kind of drops the ceiling a little bit. I believe the paneling was here. However, the color of this drop, it wasn't white, and I think the white has done a lot. Now, you're gonna see this particular motif as carved wood in several of the different places in the house. This is how they did. I'm sure this was original to the house and the homeowner did not want to get rid of these, but Lindsay did paint these out and I think it looks so good. Another thing she did is the back of this built-in here, this is actually, you would think it's wallpapered. If you look close, it's grass cloth, but look at this. She's actually cut matting board and she has wallpapered the mat board and just set it in here, probably taped it like two-sided tape to give a textured backdrop to all these great accessories. I love this. I mean, this is awesome. This is an art light that fits on an easel that holds a piece of art. And because the rest of the built-in is not lit, this gives it a sense and a feeling that it is. She's got one of my favorite setups of the 4 chairs that face each other. Now, when I do this, I pick out 4 chairs that match. The upholstery matches, but Lindsay chose to do it where 2 are the same this direction and 2 are the same this direction. Gives it a little bit more of an eclectic look. This desk has the rich, deep espresso stain on it, as does the piece in the middle, tying it together. And then look over here. That black espresso color is now repeated in the heads of the cows and right here in these baskets that she's used as accessory pieces. So you see that? That's one of the principles that I love about design is taking a color, a finish, a texture, and repeating it in different places in the room. And I think it does a lot for the space. You guys, this is Lindsay Gray. She's the designer who did this room, and it's a funny name.
I called it the Snug.
The Snug. Okay, that must be your generation kind of word.
Maybe. It was set up as a traditional office, a study. And I came in here and I just said, I know a lot of people have been working from home, but people are also getting back out into the office and having more social functions. So I wanted this to kind of be, yes, you could come home and work here, but you could also just come home and snuggle up and just chit chat with your friends.
What about this? This is an interesting built-in here, and this was, I'm understanding, original?
I understand it was original as well, but
Was it this color?
It was not this color. So I was given liberties to paint it.
Now, I also noticed that the back wall, I thought she wallpapered the back wall to give it texture, but you were very, very creative.
Yes.
What did you do?
The back wall was a little bit of an afterthought. So I actually took some foam core board that I purchased and
core, like from art
Hobby
supply.
Lobby,
Yeah,
something like that, and wrapped it with wallpaper. So I used the spray adhesive and wrapped it with wallpaper, and
so it comes out, meaning
it does.
she was able. So this is a great tip for people who rent. If you can't do something permanent, or you don't want to spend the money to do something permanent, you can do these. And I think they just come out really easily,
yes,
right?
absolutely.
So pre-measured them?
I did.
I did that actually one year at Christmas time where I wanted to do a nativity scene in my built-in. Created these things and put black felt on them, so I had a dark background.
Right.
Same kind of a thing, and then you take it out afterwards.
You take it out.
Super inexpensive.
Or
and
people
great.
that like to change their mind a lot.
That's
you know, it's kind
true.
of like changing a pillow. Like if you had those boards, you could change them seasonally as well.
See,
So,
there you go. You could have the black felt for Christmas, and you could have this for spring and
Yep.
summer. I love it.
Yeah.
That's great. Let's take a look at the great room in this house. One of the things I'm struck by is the overall size of each one of these rooms. This is the great room, and there is the dining room. But you know what? The square footage of this house is 7,500 square feet. So of course, each one of the rooms is going to be roomy and pretty open for a mid-century modern style home. Again, great windows, which is what came with the house architecturally. But a lot of things changed in here. The flooring is the same. I believe the beams are the same, but the color has been changed. We can thank GHD Interiors for this room. Great artwork above the fireplace. You know, when you have a fireplace this large, what kind of art do you put up there? Well, because of the arch, I think this was a really brilliant move to put a piece here, one there, and then a rounded piece in the center. Do you see how that kind of fills in the arch aspect of the stone? Nice big huge area rug, sofa here, great pillows. I love the color scheme with the navy blue added to the almost wicker color and white. A beautiful round coffee table, and then 2 chairs. Now look what's cool about this. I'm gonna come over here and show you. They swivel. Whoa. Which has its downsides. Let me just tell you, I am a huge fan of swivel chairs. I've never owned one because if I did, no one would want to hang out with me because I would be doing this the whole time. Okay, there are signs because this is a showcase house. I'll try to cover that so it's not annoying. Take a look at the windows. Window treatments to the outside of that. Do you see the symmetry here? A piece of art hanging from the window above. That is a great idea. That's something that I would have done, is try to do something to bridge the gap and create a very symmetrical look. And then beyond that, on either side, there are these great floor lamps. Now on this side, they've got the 3 like a tripod lamp. Wonderful piece of art here that fills in that space in the corner. And then a desk on an angle. We all think, if we live in a small house, we all think, oh, I wish my house was bigger, I wish I had more room. There is a downside to having more room, and that is, how do you place your furniture when the sky's the limit, you could do anything? Well, this is a really great idea for someone who has a room that's so large that just putting a sectional or a sofa and chairs in there just doesn't fill the space in. And then look over here. This is pretty clever. You've got geometric shaped pieces, one here, and then this is what's really unique. Look at this. These are mirrors that are hung, and they hang away from the wall. Well, guess what? They hang away just enough to fit this artwork behind it. I think that was a brilliant stroke of design work there. And then I love these. These are really great poofs. You know what these do? These allow people, when you have a larger group, to take these over, put them right in front of the fireplace or on either side, increasing your availability to have more people sit in the room at the same place, same time, in your square shape. So these are great, but look at how cool they are. They're like inverted carved wood. I think those are really beautiful. So all in all, I like the textures. They did the navy accents, a lot of neutrals. But then it leads us on into the room I really love, which is the dining room. I can't wait to show you the before photos so you can see the difference between what it was and what it is. This dining room was done by interior Harry Lou Ames of Embellishments, and I think she did an amazing job. It starts with this beautiful black lacquer grand piano. I mean, who's not gonna love that? Look at architecture in here, the sound would carry from room to room in a house like this so well. And I like how she's kind of angled it here, but she's let this black piano be part of the color scheme. An oversized round table. This looks to me to be somewhere between, I'm thinking this is maybe an 80-inch round. Those are hard to find. I don't know if this is a chinoiserie. I don't know. What do you guys think it is? Leave me a comment if you know what this is. It says on the back, but I don't have my glasses on. This is a great chandelier for this room. That is just very bold and strong. And if you look underneath here, the design and the shape underneath is gorgeous. Here's the key with area rugs. When you pull out your dining chair, you want to be able to get in and sit down and pull yourself back in without the back legs going off of the rug. Now here's a big difference. The ceiling and all of this was painted all white to match the rest of the house. But take a look at this built-in. By painting this out black, both on the outsides and inside, this made such a remarkable difference. It's very classy, very strong, dramatic, and bold. Looks amazing with this table, the chairs, and it balances out perfectly the grand piano on the other side of the room. But look at the white pottery, bisque pottery. It looks like it's a matte finish inside. She's done pairs of the shapes, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different shapes, pairs in each one. That's why it looks so great. I'm going to show you one last thing in this room that I think is noteworthy. Take a look at these window treatments. That banding is awesome. It's a beautiful banding, but you add that to just regular, I'm thinking this is a polyester type window treatment, and it hangs very nicely because it's on what I call the hospital. You know what I mean? In a hospital, they have the curtains that separate the two people in the room, and it's kind of like that. Hey, hi, I'm Dr. Kildare. You want the good news or the bad news first? That's what it reminds me of. I think that she did, this girl, this designer did a great job at pulling that together, which ties in with this, ties in with the shape on this light fixture or the chandelier, and ties in beautifully with this gorgeous black grand piano. I'm very excited today to introduce you to someone who's actually become a friend. This is Royce Meyer, and he owns the Royce Meyer Gallery. And I met you when I first came just visiting Tulsa, right?
Yes, you did.
I was coming to check out what has Tulsa got going in the design world. Ran into your gallery, was super impressed, and I bought a number of pieces for one of my projects. A lot of the rooms actually feature your original art pieces, not yours specifically as an artist, but you provided for the designers different pieces of art. Is that
Absolutely.
correct?
As you know, I work very closely with the design industry and interior designers, and I support original art.
So I think my viewers would be interested in knowing, in a showcase house, it's my understanding each designer who is accepted to do a room, she provides the furniture and all of the art, accessories, rugs, everything else. Are you letting these designers borrow these pieces?
Absolutely, absolutely, always.
That is so
always.
nice.
It's a great opportunity to show art, for people to see art, and showcase original art.
Sure.
I love it.
And he was showing me that he actually has some authentic mid-century modern art pieces, which I thought you guys might be interested in seeing since we recently kind of unpacked the mid-century modern style. So let's take a look at some of those, and then guess what else I found out? He's actually an artist. We'll see one of his pieces too. Let's go look. Royce, tell me what makes these so specifically and obviously mid-century?
Mid-century would have been the time that these particular French lithographs and serigraphs were printed by Marat, which was a famous publisher of prints, fine art prints, in the 1950s and 60s. There's different artists here. This particular one is Miro, And there's something really interesting to know about if you buy a print from that period is the signature of the artist is often in the plate.
And I like how you have them matted and framed in the black. to
Yes,
put into
very
a home.
simple. Yes.
What
we
would
love it.
a lithograph like one of these cost originally?
This one is
Originally.
$2,950.
Originally.
Originally, this piece was probably printed by the publisher, the French publisher, and then given to a gallery for this, at the Tate Gallery, for this particular opening. And then the artist would sign maybe 50 to 100. And those were given to special clients and people.
And that makes it worth a lot more money.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
This is
it
in the
does.
$2,000
They're
range
rare
now.
and they're rare and very and highly collectible.
So Royce, this is not really mid-century modern, but what would you call this style?
Well, the mid-century in this particular painting is I did a tribute to women using portraits that I printed by Picasso, Renoir, Matisse, and I cut them out. They're part of a collage in the painting. So they are actually mid-century artists, and here's Picasso, and I just do them in what I call my dyslexia series, which I am dyslexic. I discovered it quite by accident when I painted a painting out of anger, and it looked like letters attacking people and numbers attacking people, and it was dark and it was black and white, and people loved it. And so this style was born in this series, and I actually sell them really well. So I did this one specifically to feature these artists and women, and I call it Femme.
Listen, Royce, thank you so much
you
for
so
coming
much.
today and telling us a little bit about your part in the showcase house. Have
Thank
you
you
guys
very much.
enjoyed meeting Royce? I hope so. Listen, give your family
Thank you.
a nice big
Thank you
hug
so
for
much.
me, and I'll be back in one of these days.
Please do.
I'm sure
We
I
miss
have
you.
some walls that could use a little something, something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So let's take a look at what they call the north bedroom. When I toured this a couple of days ago, I decided this has got to be one of my favorite rooms because of this area. A rounded sweeping sofa in a rounded room, and then don't you love these amazing pendant lights just dropping down in the center of the room? Because look how low it is. But guess what? There's a table here. No one's going to hit their head on them, and this gives it the drama in this space that it needs. Wait till I show you the before photo of this area, in fact, this entire room. I think you're going to be pretty blown away by Boulevard Interiors. This sofa was originally made for this house, custom at the time, so the current homeowner said, do not do anything with this sofa. It's custom, it fits the room perfectly, and we don't want to change the upholstery. When a designer gets parameters like that and then is able to pull off something like this, I think she did a pretty genius job. And I gotta ask, when I talked to Gunta, I wanna know how she did this. These reeds, that was a mark of genius. I love that. Look, there was a mural over here. This must have been a child's room. Has little horses, I believe. And now she's got a nice, modern, contemporary, abstract piece of black and white art. And as we come over here, look what she's done. She's brought that rich, deep color. It looks to be the same color that is painted inside of those cubbies over in the sitting area. She's painted that on this back wall. Now, if you guys have watched my videos very long, you'll know that I have bought some art from the Royce Meyer Gallery, and this is where this is from as well. And I have a Richardson painting in my home, and I also placed one in the Cliff House. How many of you remember that fabulous horse painting above the desk in the Cliff House? Love that. Same artist. Isn't that a great look? So she's got a nice symmetrical look here on this wall. All in all, I think the carpet that she has under the bed here is beautiful. The two carpets are, well, they're quite different, but they definitely combine nicely. So let's meet Gunta, shall we? And see what she has to say about the challenges of this room, how much time she had to do it, and maybe she'll give us some of her sources like that mural wallpaper, because I'd like to write that one down. Super excited to have Gunta here, Gunta Sandmeyer. She's the one who actually designed this room, and boy, do I have some questions for her. She just walked in. It's the first time for us to meet. And what happened, Gunta?
Well, I saw you, and I came up to you and I said, you are the reason why I'm a designer. If you can believe it. That's the truth.
That just honestly is, you made my day. That blows my mind. Honestly, how long have you been watching me?
I don't know. I mean, most of my adult life seems like.
Really?
But, yeah. When I first started kind of getting into designing and getting into not even designing but remodeling, improving the homes that we lived in, I found this woman out of California on YouTube that was so inspirational and so exciting to watch, and I was thinking, wow, she does that for a living. What if I could do it for a living?
Now I can see what it has produced, and I feel honored to be actually a part of that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this room.
Okay.
Did you select this room from the beginning? Was
Yes,
it one of
this was one of my favorites. Absolutely.
Because why?
Because of this rounded area. I absolutely loved it. I thought we could do things with it. I thought it was an amazing feature to have in a bedroom.
Here was the biggest question I had, and whether, I mean, I had no idea that you were someone who knew me or anything like that. I thought I was meeting you, you know, whatever. But I love the mural wallpaper you used in here.
Thank you.
Can you share with us what it is?
Well, I started my brainstorming of what we could do here, and we literally got online
and you found it.
Yeah, I mean, we have samples, but I just kind of went out searching, and I found the company out of England actually.
Wow.
Me back, and there is a little bit of a backstory I can share.
Okay.
Even though when you think that everything is under control,
it never is.
It never is, and even pros make mistakes. So you do, when you order the mural wallpaper, you have to order it to size.
Yes.
And I measured it and wrote numbers down, but apparently I communicated totally different numbers to the company.
There you go.
So when they sent the paper, it was a bit too short.
Oh no. No!
By about this much.
Oh no! So does it cut off behind the sofa?
No. Actually, the length is okay, but it was not wide enough. So
that's where you came up with these little.
So what we did, I mean, when you have, when life hands you lemons, what's that?
Right,
You make the lemonade.
you turn lemons into lemonade.
Yeah. At first we thought, well, we'll just paint everything in that color that we have already one of the walls in, kind of accent. It's the Black Forest Green by Benjamin Moore, beautiful color, kind of has a green tint, but kind of reads as a black too at the same
and
time.
almost a teal. It feels like it has a little blue in it,
beautiful, yeah. And so we thought we would just paint these alcoves and paint kind of the stripes of it, and then put the paper in between.
Yeah.
But then one of the afternoons, probably 2 days before the room was supposed to be finished, I decided, no, how about if we added these round little dowels basically on the wall.
That, you know what? I am so proud of you. Oh my gosh.
It really
it's
made
brilliant.
a huge difference.
Oh my gosh. It is absolutely brilliant. I love it.
It brings in a kind of natural element. It grounds it.
It gives
It's
gives it
typical.
style and design and flair, and it is not typical, not by any means.
Yeah, and I really like the idea of kind of the vertical lines. And then we did the vertical lines, kind of a read it also element on a coffee table.
That is exactly the kind of stuff that makes me excited about interior design. Is you have a plan, something goes wrong, then exactly what I was talking about earlier. You have to come up with a in run to make it work. And this, I'm sure, imagine this whole area being just the mural wallpaper. probably would have been very nice, but nothing like what it is. This is what stood out to me, and I could not be more proud of you and happier for you than I am, because I think it's gorgeous. Well, I want to thank Gunta for being with us today and sharing a little bit of her experience here in the showcase home. And I'm so glad to get to meet you. We're going to have to get together.
I know. Welcome to Tulsa.
Thank you. Woohoo. All right, let me give you a hug. One of the rooms that I thought was really amazing in this house, I loved it, I could live with this. It's the powder room. It's done by Functional Interiors, and the interior designer's name is Jamie Parker. Before we go in there, I want to show you, I just loved this room the way it looked when I saw it a few days ago, but when I saw the before photos, I was like, what? Take a look at that. Hello, Zen bathroom. I think this turned out so great. Jamie, such a great job. Look what she did. She took the espresso cabinets, and I'm thinking she chose this almost terracotta color for the cabinets to paint them. She even did the doors and the casements and all of this in that same color. It's a very Zen color palette. Very neutral, very organic. If you're gonna have a color, terracotta is a neutral. Brass sink and the brass fixtures, very, very traditional. Now, I'm curious to know, when this house was built, it's a very mid-century modern home. Are these the fixtures that were originally specified for this home? Because if they are, that was a very unusual design combination. No longer is this red, it's been painted out white. And what I love about it is essentially it's shiplap, but it's running vertically, which happens to be very in style right now. She put in an arched mirror over here, but look at these light fixtures. Hey, maybe this is the reason she chose the color, because these are kind of a terracotta looking color, at least from the outside. I feel like this bathroom, it's kind of got a Japandi feel. And if you don't think so, take a look at the toilet part. Look at this. And I can tell you this is a larger than standard toilet room. Typically, you have 36 inches, if it's just a toilet room, 36 inches, and your toilet stands in the center. That's way more than 36, so it's nice and roomy. Perhaps, besides that, I think that is just awesome. Perhaps my favorite thing is what she did on the floor. I think what she did was she taped off this floor every other square. I think that they refinished this. They took all the lacquer off. So this takes it down to a neutral, unfinished look and color. Then this is a paint. It's probably an epoxy type paint. Then that right there was a labor of love. If nothing else from this video, what you could take away from this is you could actually do this kind of thing. If you have parquet floors and you're kind of like over it, because it does look dated in some ways, you could do this and it really bring it back to life. I think it was just such a smart, brilliant thing to do. Great job, Jamie. This is what I call a fabulous master suite. Look at the size of this room. I mean, I'm just gonna do a fabulous, 180. Look at this, with this rounded fireplace and this incredible wall. Can I just tell you that Susan Eddings Perez did a great job on this room. She's created a really cool retreat area here with this really fabulous sofa. It's leather, a pair of chairs here, a table with 2 chairs, and then a round table which just sort of sweeps well with that rounded fireplace. You'll also notice that the bed on this wall, they did what a lot of people do. They had a king-size bed, and they did this etagere kind of thing over here where you can put all kinds of accessories, and then one nightstand to the left. You can see how that creates such a ill-balanced room. Do you want to know what Susan did to balance this room out? I can point out some brilliant marks. First off, I love that she put a ladder there. Anyway, the way she has done the art, the greenery, the accessories looks great. But do you see how heavy this dark rock wall is? She balanced it by doing this. She used a headboard that is also dark, very, very similar in color, and it's logs that have been sawed and stained to look very similar to that. What that did was that gave this room a sense of balance. And then she's brought in elements of this natural woven wicker look. She's tied it into the pillow here, tied it into the hat here, tied it into the sisal rug over there. It's repeating a matter in such a great way. She's also tied it in this area with these baskets. Now, I love these oversized nightstands. When you have a nightstand like this and there are no drawers, where are you gonna put your stuff? Well, you pull out your basket and there goes all your stuff, like your CPAC machine, right? Just in case you have one. I'm just saying, if you do, you got a place for it. So all in all, I just think that the symmetry that she's created on this wall is outstanding. Beautiful parquet flooring in most of this house. Now this house, it does change flooring quite a bit. Today, if you were building a house like this, you'd probably have the same flooring throughout. But this is a mid-century modern home, and parquet flooring is a huge part of that. And then I don't know if they updated it with stone later, but that's kind of up to you. Here's one of the best parts about this room, in my opinion. What do you see, class? Symmetry! This is like the most perfect, beautiful wall of symmetry I've seen in a house in a long time. Take a look at this oversized piece of furniture on the bottom, which I'm sure houses important things that they can store in there. Look at these oversized lamps. Love, love, love these. And a gorgeous horse painting. You see the black and the white. It goes so perfectly with this, even running these tulips down the center. And then as you go to the left and the right, again, she's done 3 panels on that side and 3 panels on that side. Leave her a thumbs. Susan, we give you a thumbs up on Rebecca Robeson's YouTube channel for creating an absolutely perfect wall, because I want to show you. Let's take a look at what this wall looked like before. Do you know what's wrong with this? I can tell you right now. No symmetry, a huge piece of furniture. And you know what that furniture is? That furniture is proportionately too high. That piece of furniture came up to here and left very little wall space above it because the ceiling drops by having this light box all the way around. Susan, thumbs up. This is Susan Eddings Perez. That's a mouthful. She's got 3 names. You got 3 names, girl. You're here. Are you based here in Tulsa?
I live and have a home in an art studio here in Tulsa, but I also have 2 art galleries in Santa Fe. So I split my time and go back and forth.
Do you know I've never been to Santa Fe?
You have to come visit me.
I think I see a girl's weekend in my near
the best.
future. Okay,
it's beautiful, and the food and art and shopping.
And I bet you know everyone.
My husband Pablo, we call him kind of like the mayor of Canyon Road now. So he stays open late. One of our galleries, we stay open late every Friday night. We cook food and play live music.
So fun.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some. I didn't know this when I invited Susan to come to be interviewed today because I just saw the room. But it turns out that there are a number of her own personal pieces of art, her paintings, that's why they have an art gallery, that are also in the house. And I'll have you tell us which ones they are so we can just roll those by and you can see.
The powder room's mine.
The powder room painting. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Great colors.
Yeah, that was actually, I believe that was the designer's personal piece because that was in my show last year at Royce Meyer's Gallery for my opening there. And so I saw that there and I'm like, oh good, she included one of my pieces.
Oh, that's great.
But I also had other rooms that the designers actually specifically asked me to do a custom commission piece for them. So
when you decided to take on, have you done a showcase house before?
17 years. This is,
You've done it for 17 years?
Yeah, I've been the liaison for several times
Wow.
too, so it's my baby.
This is not her first rodeo.
No.
All right, so you decided to ask or request the primary bedroom.
I did not.
You did not? There's a story.
There's a story. So I actually was going to sit out this year because I have 2 galleries in Santa Fe. I have a staging company here in Tulsa.
Susan doesn't sleep much.
No, well, you know.
And she would save some time if she got her photos printed on her own printer instead of going to Walgreens. But I digress.
I know. I decided, you know what, I just have to step away. I'm not really, looking
Too
and
much.
trying to get
Yeah.
design clients right
Yeah.
now. Too much on my plate. So I did say no. And then right before the Bare Bones party, which, is several months after all the other designers have been selected and are already choosing and sourcing and, having things done, they had a designer that dropped out at the last minute. So
Dropout designer. I hate when that
hate
happens.
that. But,
Yeah.
things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
So I get the call.
And
Actually,
you
a
got
text.
the great room.
Yeah, I love this space.
I do
and
too. There's
it's-
so much about it I love. Can I tell you what I love?
Tell me.
Okay. I love this wall.
Thank you.
It is the perfect example of symmetry.
Thank you.
It's symmetry at its finest.
Thank you.
You did such a great job with
It's a
that wall.
25-foot wall.
Right? So what are you
So-
going to do to make it
Thank
connect
you.
with the room and make it,
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a great focal point, which usually the wall on your left when you walk in is not a focal
You're
point.
like, "Whoop."
This is a focal point.
Yeah.
Awesome symmetry here.
But you have
Beautiful.
to make it all.
Yes,
Yeah.
love this piece
Thank
over
you.
love the headboard.
My
love
son.
the nightstands
Thank
open
you.
with the big baskets. I mean, I pointed all this stuff out. You guys know that I love it. So tell me, what was your biggest challenge in this room?
I walked in and I knew the floor, and that's why this was my very first.
Yeah,
that's my
it's
first thing.
perfect.
And I'm like, that's gonna tie in my floors for me.
She's talking about the chaise, the leather chaise here. Will you call this a chaise?
Yeah,
It's like a sofa, but
settees.
it's,
Yeah, I think it was called a day bed
Okay.
online, or where
right.
I sourced it. But I wanted something low, also, kind of loungy feeling. I knew I was going to have to create a sitting room. Basically, this is bigger than my first apartment. And that's what I told my kids when we walked in. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is bigger than my first
It's
apartment.
bigger than any room in my
Yeah,
house.
yeah. So it was, and then I knew I had to have a very focal.
A focal point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
the
wow, when you
headboard
first
was
walked
going to be it.
Yeah.
And because I needed to balance my fireplace.
Exactly.
Also.
The color is just like.
Well, I
So
specifically we made sure that it kind of it doesn't always have to match, but it has to play well.
Yeah, it does.
And I wanted those two to
Yeah.
kind of communicate with each other.
Yeah.
So, and the trees that we used on that actually came from
For the logs?
yeah, they're sycamore
Wait,
from a
wait.
sycamore tree.
What do you
that,
mean? You made it?
Yes, we made it. My son made it. I designed, and
Oh,
my
we're
son.
going to have to meet her son.
Yeah, my
Okay,
son
okay,
made.
We'll bring him in a second.
Yeah, it's from that we had a huge Father's Day storm in Tulsa last year.
I did too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yes,
last year,
I
all those
would have
trees.
donated my tree.
Oh, we were going every week.
I spent $2,000 to have that tree cut down. I could have at least gotten a headboard out of it.
No, we're the ones that I told my son, I'm like, ooh, there's some good wood. So we
Oh,
loaded,
my
we went
gosh.
and actually asked the homeowner, hey, can we take it? And of course, everybody's got it stacked and cut alongside the road waiting for the city to come. And I'm like, hey, this is free good
Right,
wood.
right.
Beautiful. And I'm like, we will have a project. I
Yeah.
know for this at some point. That's just the way I am. I'm
That's
like,
smart.
oh yeah.
This is Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Ryan Eddings. And that's why I kept the Eddings.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you too. This is fantastic.
Thank you, thank
I
you.
love it. And you made that headboard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
last Father's Day, the storm, and we were driving around. We have a trailer, and we saw some nice logs on the side of the road, and loaded up on our trailer, and they sat in Susan's driveway for
My
almost
courtyard
a
of
year.
my studio. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
They were drying out, and I had made a similar art piece for our staging company last year during the Parade of Homes. And so we knew we kind of wanted to expand on that.
Yeah.
So we kind of already had the idea for it. So
That's
Just made it bigger.
fantastic. Okay, I've
Yeah.
learned some things here. Number one, I need a truck.
Yes. Oh, trailer too.
we have a trailer.
trailer.
too.
I-
Yeah.
a
15-foot
trailer truck.
enclosed trailer.
Yeah.
But it has a truck attached to it, right?
Oh, well,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause the
I
trailer
have
without
a
a
pickup
truck.
truck too.
All right, I need both.
Yeah.
I need a 6'4" son.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And a big
who's-
chainsaw.
And a big chainsaw. That's fantastic. I love this. I actually do these 1-hour consultations on every Friday from people all over the world.
Yeah.
And I brought up the pictures of this because the person I was talking to needed this headboard.
Oh, it
and
can
she
happen.
said, where can I get it? So
We can make it happen.
Guys,
Yeah.
if it's for sale, you guys leave me a comment below. Would you like to know how to get a hold of one of these headboards?
Yeah.
I'm sure he can make it any size. You can even make it stretch beyond and have the nightstands in front.
Yeah,
We had
I
thought
can
about
lower.
doing that.
custom made the frame, and so we can do that to
Any size.
I love your sense of scale.
Thank you. Oh, and
That's what you've done so well. And I love your double rugs. That's
Yeah.
what I do is
Layer.
double my area rugs, and people don't know to do
No,
that.
and
But you get the size you really need
Yes.
with the one on the bottom.
And then you.
Yeah. And sometimes I layer them this way to
Yep.
get, I love
Yeah.
to layer cow print rugs.
Yep, cowhide
Yes,
right there.
and if you layer those,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can get a much larger cow.
Well, and cowhides also
They're
because
organic.
they're organic and
Yeah,
they
they flow.
they make those odd shapes
Yes.
areas sometimes
They
kind of like make them work.
Yeah. I had a house, my own home. This was when I had no money, and I bought everything at garage sales. And it had this awkward angled wall in the entry. You know, the wall goes this way,
hate
then it angles
angled.
here, and then I do too.
I
Angled
hate
fireplace.
Oh no! What do I say all the
angled
time?
fireplace?
I walk in, I'm like, seriously?
Seriously.
These builders need a lesson.
I know.
They need
People
to go to-
send me pictures. They say, "What should I do with this?" I'm like, "Sell your house."
Burn it.
I want to say a special thank you to every one of the designers that participated today and filled us in a little bit on their project. Also to the Home Builders Association here in Tulsa. I'm super excited to be in a town that does love and appreciate and support interior design. All right, you guys, I want to hear from you. Leave me a comment below and let me know what your favorite part of the house was, if you learned anything that you can use in your own home, and just a shout out to some of these designers. I'm sure they would appreciate your support and to hear what you have to say. All right, I am leaving. I am headed out to San Diego because I have an incredible project to show you very, very soon. You're gonna love it. And all I can say is wait for it. Wait for it.
I was running my errands. I'm like, I need to go by Walgreens.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe you actually take your,
I don't normally, but
are they digital photos at least?
yes, they're digital. I do have.
I mean, do you take in a roll of film? What is that? Okay, so now that you got your pictures back from Walgreens, oh, is that what a photo looks like?
Those are my Birch Street Studio art panels too that I put on there. So
Birch Street?
Yeah,
Did you
'cause-
just sort of slip that in
yeah,
casually?
but what's so funny is
That was worth that, that plug right there.
right there.
If you didn't get it, it's Birch Street Studios.
I don't have a website for it though, but
Oh my gosh, why doesn't that surprise me?